Welcome back to the Ocala Jockey Club International 3-day event. It is the finale of what has been a fabulous weekend, and we will be streaming show jumping live all day long. I'm Jenny Autry, joined by Sinead Halpin to take you into the one-star show jumping. Sinead, we couldn't have asked for a better day for the finale.
Oh my God, we couldn't have asked for a better day all weekend. I mean, it's just been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. Picture perfect weather here in Reddick, Florida, and we had a super day of cross country yesterday. We're going to run you through some of those highlights to show you the action that we saw yesterday. And Sinead, it was such a fabulous day. Really, Clayton Fredericks' course rode so well across the board.
Yeah, it was super. It was super. I mean, I think, again, the weather was amazing. The ground couldn't have been better. I think those that had prepared well fitness-wise and, and competition-wise had really super days. And then some had to go home and do a little extra homework, but I think it was a great day for the sport.
Yeah, we saw this morning horses looking fabulous at the first horse inspection, which is wonderful to see. All horses that presented to the ground jury in all 3 CCI divisions were accepted. So we will see 59 combinations going on in all to show jumping in the 1-star. And then we will also be streaming that 3-star for you, followed by the CCI 2-star. So Sinead, it's also just really awesome to be able to stream all of the show jumping for all of the CCI divisions as well.
Yeah, and that's really, it's so great for all of our owners and supporters and family that are all around the globe that are really following this competition that can't make it, unfortunately for them, to Florida in November, because I know there's a lot of places in the snow that would like to be down here, but at least they can see the sunshine.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a look at that top 5 in the 1-star following cross country. Tammy Smith holding the lead with Danito on 22.6, but you see she will not have a rail in hand over Ellie O'Neill and Zigzag in second place on 26.0. Liz Halliday Sharp sits in third place with Gorse Hill Cooley on 26.9. Then in fourth place you have Will Zuschlag on 27.2 with Quintana Kay, and Maya Black rounding out that top 5 with Mix Master C on 27.3. Sinead, it is going to be so tight at the top of that leaderboard. One rail is going to mean you're going to go straight down that leaderboard, and we will be bringing you all that action live. First, we'll take a look at a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the action.
In the rarefied hills of north central Florida sits an equestrian paradise on 950 acres, the Ocala Jockey Club. The pastures are unprecedented. The sunsets are glorious. The Ocala Jockey Club has full training services for thoroughbreds in all stages of their careers. The training track is dragged daily and irrigated to ensure proper consistency of footing. The rolling hills provide natural rehabilitation for horses. Ocala has earned its regard as the horse capital of the world.
Ocala has continued to get better every year, and I'm really excited with what's coming in the years to come for the horse sport.
The Ocala Jockey Club is also home to work-class eventing. The dramatic and rigorous cross-country course was created by an acclaimed Olympic cross-country course designer. The show jumping arena sits within clear view from the Ocala Jockey Club restaurant.
Welcome to the Ocala Jockey Club, the horse capital of the world. And here we are at this amazing venue that can hold its best in anywhere in the world.
It's a great place to train. The ground is wonderful. The people are lovely. The weather, can't really beat that.
This is fantastic. This is world class.
The very best went into the inaugural international CCI 1-star, 2-star, and CIC 3-star events hosted at the Ocala Jockey Club in 2016. It was a resounding success. The Ocala Jockey Club restaurant sits perched on one of the highest points in Marion County. With panoramic views of the farm and training track, it serves as a perfect setting for weddings, clinics, family reunions, holiday parties, as well as corporate meetings and retreats. A perfect destination for resort hospitality. The Ocala Jockey Club, set in the serene natural beauty of north central Florida, is an international resort for the discerning horseman. It is like no other horse facility in the world, combining the hills of Virginia, the lush turf of Kentucky, the pastoral beauty of the English countryside with the welcoming year-long climate of Florida. The Ocala Jockey Club is a horse lover's paradise.
You made a promise. You agreed to never give up. To be a decent neighbor. To ask, what else can I do? You agreed to remember the good people who rise with every challenge. To remember their strength when you feel tired. To serve with grit and grace. To do all your jobs bravely, beautifully. You made a promise. We did too. The all-new Ram 1500.
Do more of what you love in Ocala, Marion County. More rides through natural wonders, more legendary competition, more chances to meet and get to know some of the biggest names in the equestrian world. Experience the horse capital of the world and discover where champions are made. Explore and do more at ocalamarion.com.
You don't realize what a difference they make until you realize what a difference they make. The all-new Ram 1500. Why more people are switching to Ram than ever before.
Welcome back to the Ocala Jockey Club International 3-day event. We are on the final day of what has been a fabulous competition, and we are bringing you all the show jumping action live, starting with the 1-star. So Sinead, we have 59 horses and riders in all coming forward, only 2 rails separate in the top 17.
I know, it's so crazy.
Going to be a absolute nail biter. Chris Barnard is our show jumping course designer, and Sinead, you walked the course and you think this is a fabulous track for the 1-star.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at the flag ceremony here as we are getting ready to start that 1-star, but talk us through this course, Sinead. What are the horses and riders going to have to do to get a clear round?
Well, I think Chris has been great. You know, I think he's really respected that the horses had quite a long track yesterday. I think there was a 9-minute 1-star track, and I think he's taken that into consideration and not placed really any tricks out there, which is great. I think he's a great horseman and a great course designer. So the track is really nice and flowing. All the distances walk really nicely. I think the biggest concern down there really is the atmosphere. I mean, there's tons going on. You can get a nice shot down there right now. There's flags, there's people, there's noise. You're taking the horses away from their friends up at the top of the hill. So we'll see. We've got Liz Halliday going in to start us off, and you couldn't have a better combination actually to get us going.
Absolutely. Liz Halliday, Sharp, and Flash Cooley are our first combination to go. They are jumping out of order because Liz has a couple horses in this division, and she also is leading the CIC 3-star after show jumping with Fernhill by Night. So she has a busy day of cross country and jumping her horses in the CCI division. So she's sitting 9th after the first 2 phases, remaining on her dressage score of 28.1. So right off the bat, Sinead, we have a round that could be very influential when we consider how closely the scores are bunched.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think all the riders will be watching how this course is riding and how the horses react. But I think from that first jump, I think this is going to be a nice round.
Yeah, this is a fabulous Irish sport horse owned by Prue Dawes and a jumping bean, as you can see there. And the footing down there is fabulous. Sinead, the horses really spring off of it and jump well.
Yeah, and it's this place is really closed down to the public for the whole season. So that piece of land is manicured just for this competition, for a competition once a year. So it really is taken care of well.
So Liz is clear through the first 4 fences. The time allowed is 78 seconds. Now she'll come to this line of the Oxer to Liverpool.
It's back up at the warm-up again, so it's just showing us the lay of the land.
So all clear there over that Liverpool. Now into the triple combination,
which I think will probably be one of the harder combinations on the course because it's quite a tight turn, cantering into the trade fair, cantering into the flags, and so keeping the focus of a lot of these young horses in the 1-star is going to be difficult. Keeping the focus of the horses probably in the 3 and the 2-star is going to be difficult.
So just the final fence to go now.
Nice clear. Really super.
Yeah, big pat. So a fabulous clear round for Liz Halliday Sharp and Flash Cooley to kick us off in this 1-star show jumping. She will remain on her dressage score of 28.1. So sitting in 9th place after the cross country, she is going to remain in that top 10, but as far as how it all shakes out, we have a long way to go. 59 horses and riders in all. And we do have a few going out of order because of other rides later in the day. So Jacob is going out of order as well with Mischief Managed. They were in 14th place after the dressage on 29.4 and added 11.6 time penalties yesterday. So sitting on a score of 41 in 39th place.
And it's really, this is a fun class to watch, especially with some of our professionals and younger professionals, because these are really horses that they're bringing out to get a great experience and horses that we'll hopefully see for years to come. So it's kind of a little preview of the horses for the next kind of 4 to 6 years that hopefully we'll see back here every year at the 2-star and the 3-star level, and then a great prep for Kentucky. I think that's why a lot of people end up coming down to Jockey Club, because you're pretty confident that you're going to get good ground. The horses will run on top of the ground. They'll have a nice experience. You're going to get a good cross-country design with Clayton, a good show jumping design with Chris. So it's a great way to end your season and have confident horses looking towards next year.
And in just 3 short years, Sinead, this event has become such a highlight of our calendar and one everyone is really planning their seasons around now.
Yeah. Well, and I'm so excited we have this live feed, because I think the more people see this competition, the more people will show up and the more popular it will be. And you can see all the spectators already, and it's 10:30 in the morning.
The event really has an international feel, which is fabulous, especially in a class like the 1-star where you're looking at horses who are younger, stepping up to the level. Being able to expose them to this type of atmosphere at such a young age is so valuable. Yeah,
exactly. And again, exposing them to this atmosphere, but that ring is really large, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic. So, there are a lot of places that have atmosphere like this, but they're smaller arenas, and it can be a little bit intense for the horses. Whereas here, you can breathe down there. You go into that arena and you feel like you've got space, but yet you're still introducing it. So again, it's a nice way to start the young horses.
So all clear for Jacob Fletcher and Mischief Managed. Now we look to Madeline Carey and Nick in Time as our next in. Adding 40 jumping penalties yesterday on the cross country. But got it done, Sinead. Sometimes it's about just checking that box and crossing that finish line.
And I think this is a good young rider and a sweet young horse, and I know she's been over working with Denise Rath, who's local to the area. And so I watched her around yesterday, and a couple of little green mistakes, but a really actually lovely combination. I ended up finding this horse as a young horse at a clinic. I saw it, and then this girl ended up buying him and has been riding with Denise, and it's just been so fun to watch him come and be so successful, and I know that she'll be excited to have a good finish here.
So that line of 3 to 4, riding in 5 strides. And then they will turn back to the Oxford to Liverpool. Oh. So she did good to balance him back there
Yeah.
to keep that in the cups over the Liverpool.
Very, a very sweet, very genuine horse. I mean, you can look at his expression; it doesn't change. He just has his ears pricked the whole time, which is one of my favorite things about any horses, when they really look like they love their job and they don't really mind if they're a little close or a little off. They're just happy to be out there. And after, again, a 9-minute track yesterday, which actually for him might have turned into around 10 with a few bobbles, he looks great out here on for his show jumping round.
Well, yeah, his happy pricked ears really say it all, don't they?
Totally.
So clear over the last, and you
So
see her
cute.
giving him big pats. All clear for Madeline Carey and Nick in time. So adding no additional penalties to their score to complete the 1-star at the Ocala Jockey Club 3-day event. Oh, look at that big smile.
I know. And that's the thing, they've got a really great relationship. She never panicked when she was a little, had it a little off, and the horse has a great rhythm, and it just worked really, it was a really pleasant round.
So next in will be Laura Vandervliet with Lady Kalina, adding 20 jumping penalties on the cross country yesterday and 18.8 additional time, has them on a score of 85.7.
Yeah, and I think she just the horse was quite fresh yesterday. I saw her
Yes.
cross country round, and she had a little miscommunication in a 20 early on, but the horse really grew throughout the track. So it's nice to see that, again, the young horses come out, can be a little fresh, they're a little fitter than they've ever been before, and get distracted for a second, and then carry on to have a very educational round. I think Laura did a great job through the rest of the track.
Well, and especially with this 1-star track, even though it was quite long, which I think surprised the riders a bit, it was a course where you could really see the horses learning along the way and growing in confidence, which was really fabulous to see.
Yeah.
So rubbing some of those first few fences, but they are all staying in the cups so far.
Yeah, she's hitting them in all the right ways.
Exactly. Keep doing it just like that, Laura. All clear so far.
There, she got a bit more air there.
And that triple combination set right against the rail where all the trade stand tents
Yeah.
are. I mean, there's a lot for the horses to look at.
Oh, finally
Yeah.
caught up with her a bit there.
So taking that final element at 7C of the triple combination.
Have we got anything on there with time allowed? Has time been fine so far?
Time has been fine. That time allowed is 78 seconds. I've got a message in to show jumping course designer Chris Barnard, and he has confirmed to me that that time allowed we're staying. We're going to try and get the camera on that clock as they finish so that we can see and verify that, but just taking a peek at the live scores, so far that clock has not been an issue.
Yeah, I think Brian just said she was on 74 seconds. So the time for at least the 1-star looks quite reasonable because she was certainly taking her time and was 4 seconds under.
So adding the 1 rail down for Laura Vandervliet and Lady Colina. Next in is Julia Strawbridge with Balmoral Oki. Also adding 20 jumping penalties yesterday and additional time to sit on a score of 78.8.
Seventh at Fair Hill, 4th at New Jersey Horse Trials in the summer, and also 1st in training at Plantation last year. Julia Balmoral Oakley, number 21.
Really stylish little jumper. Again, it's so nice to see them after the rounds yesterday just really come and give that first and second jump a lot of air.
Yeah, this is really fabulous to see the horses jumping so well. And we really can't say enough about the turf here at the Ocala Jockey Club. It's beautiful, old, established turf, and it's been so lovingly maintained by the grounds crew here. They really worked so diligently on that footing for the cross country yesterday. So all clear for Julia and Balmoral Oki as they come into this triple combination at fence 7.
And the horses so far really haven't seemed to be bothered by cantering in towards that trade fair. I thought that we were going to see a little bit more distraction there, but they're really reading that triple nicely. Maybe they're just tired enough to have the edge off a little bit, but not too tired to lose the jump. Lovely.
Yeah, this horse jumped so well for her. All clear for Balmoral Oki and Julia Strawbridge to remain on that score of 78.8.
For Julia, and she'll add nothing today, finishing on 78.8.
And I just think this is such a thoughtful course for these young horses. I mean, there's nothing better than having a great course design on your last day and being able to finish up your FEI event with your lovely young horse or your excited young rider and just finishing strong. And this this course, I think if you ride it well and keep them in a nice rhythm, it should jump clean. It should jump well. There aren't any traps in there. It's just a really beautifully designed track.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're so lucky to have Chris Barnard designing more and more of our top courses in this country. He's really an asset, and we're lucky to have him. Next in will be Sammy Crandall with Fernhill Chaos. Danny Warrington coaches Sammy, and he will be swapping in for you a bit later in the broadcast, Sinead. So he's down there coaching his student.
No, I gotta go watch my husband warm up. It comes with the marriage contract.
So Sammy adding 20 jumping penalties on the cross country yesterday on a score of 78.3, coming into this show jumping with Fernhill Chaos. All clear so far. And all clear coming into the triple combination.
This is a beautiful jumping horse, huh? It's got, I actually, this is a very beautiful horse. I saw her trotting around one of the first days that we were here, and I was really taken aback by. It's a really modern, very pretty uphill Fernhill horse, and we see a lot of these Fernhill horses and Cooley horses and FE horses, and it's all it's a prefix for the barns, the sales barns that they're coming from. It's a really Fernhill horses are a great Irish model.
So yeah, fabulous jumping horse, and a fist pump from Sammy Crandall as she jumps clear with Fernhill Chaos to remain on that score of 78.3. So far, after the first 6 horses into the ring, we've just had one pair having a rail down, so Chris Barnard's course jumping super so far. And again, I think it is a testament to how fabulous the horses are feeling after running on such great ground yesterday.
Yeah. I think we were all pleasantly surprised. I think there was a lot of chatter and concern about the length of the courses, but I think that can actually, be put to bed a little bit because the horses just really did come through really well, and the ground is just really fast ground. So we were seeing horses well inside the time and looking well today. So I think we can see those longer tracks now becoming more consistent here at Ocala Jockey Club.
Well, you see Maddie McElduff and Lamadale Graciana on the way with their round, taking that rail at the second fence. It's 5 strides between those verticals at 3 and 4. She's all clear through there. Big jump there over that Swedish Oxer, and unfortunately
not big enough jump there, unfortunately.
Yeah, catching up to her over that Liverpool, so that is another rail down and bounces that rail right out of the cups there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because she's actually doing quite a nice job. I mean, the horse just looks a little flat off the ground, maybe a little tired from yesterday. I'm not so sure because it just looks like she needs a little bit more jump in that step to get the height that she needs, but she's giving the horse a good ride, just needs a little bit more in the tank. Like
Well,
there,
yeah,
she gave put a little leg on, and the horse kept going. And that's again, you know,
So we
for
have
a young
4 rails
rider,
down.
realizing what your horse feels like on the
16
third
jumping,
day
no
after a
time.
track, after a long track, is sometimes a new
Matt
feeling, and
Graciano.
you have to give them a little bit more than you would at your normal horse show. And unfortunately, sometimes you realize that after your second or third rail.
Definitely, yes. 4 down for Maddie McElduff, but it was great to see her ride so positively through that last line.
Yeah, it got better.
Definitely did. Next is Kate Sand with Bourbon, adding 20 jumping penalties yesterday on the cross country and an additional 11.6 time, brings them forward on a score of 70.4.
Number 46. Number 9th at Rocking Horse, 10th at Chat Hills up in Georgia, 15th at Champaign Run, and also 9th. at the
Same
Ocala
thing here,
Winter
a little
Series
bit. You
back-to-back
might just want to see a little bit more step. There we go. And that, she had a nice ride around that turn, and then the horse was really able to get up in the air.
Yeah, horse is so tidy with his hind end. Let's see how he jumps through these verticals at 3 and 4. And the distances they're very nice.
Yeah,
nice
they're right on a
distances.
12-foot stride. All of them are right on a 12-foot stride. So it's, you know, maybe the last line is a little bit open, but they're coming back towards the end gate, so the stride is naturally going to lengthen anyway. And that, yeah, I really believe at this level we need to be encouraging our horses to just stay on a 12-foot stride, because after yesterday, you know, they're going on go from an 8-foot stride to a 16-foot stride and then back to an 8-foot stride. So reestablishing just that 12-foot, 12-foot, 12-foot step is an important, valuable part of their learning curve, right? To be able to just get them on a rhythm and stay there.
Absolutely, especially after they've run around that course.
Yeah.
To be able to maintain that rhythm and consistent pace throughout the round.
Totally.
So all clear there.
No jumping, no time for Samantha. First kill, Fernhill first choice, finishing on 74.3.
So that was Samantha McCleary with Fernhill first choice.
One of our thoroughbreds. This is Kate
I think that was Bourbon.
This is number 48,
Wasn't it?
Kentucky.
Well, I've just heard Brian say that was Samantha.
Oh.
And I've just heard next to us Kate Sand being called for in warm-up.
So we might have been calling everyone the wrong name because we were just talking about the Fernhill horse beforehand.
So we saw Sammy Crandall with Fernhill Chaos, then Maddie. So this is Kate Sand riding
okay.
Bourbon. Yes.
Yeah.
We apologize
Sorry
to that.
about that.
Just going a little bit out of order from what was on our sheet.
That's too bad. You can see this horse is actually the other side. It's a little bit keen. It got down that 5 strides a little bit too easy. And she just took the inside line there. And again, you just would like this horse to just hold off the jump just a little bit more to give him a little bit more time in the air. You can see he's having to work pretty hard through that triple. There you go.
And unfortunately, that rail falling there at fence 8.
Yeah, so that last line worked well for her because it is on a little bit more of an open stride and had a little bit more room. And again, that's on the other side of it. That's the other thing after cross country is that sometimes they get that stride a little too open and are almost a little too keen, and you've got to give them a little room.
But you see how fast she was on the clock.
Yeah.
64 seconds.
Well,
The
yeah.
time allowed is 78. So.
Yeah. I don't know if she needed to take that inside turn after the first line, but maybe she thought that would help with the rideability a bit.
Emily, number 19 from Ocala,
So
Florida.
the 2 rails down for Kate Sand and Bourbon to complete on a score of 78.4. Next in will be Emily Stokel with Franco SSF, adding 20 jumping penalties yesterday on cross country and an additional 13.2 time, brings them forward on a score of 69.0.
This is number 19.
This horse has some canter, huh?
Oh, it's a beautiful horse. It's a really beautiful horse, and Emily has had this horse from a young horse. Has done it for her this horse's first events, so they have a very good relationship. She rides with John Halling, so is another local rider, and this is Emily and the horse's first 1-star. So I think she was quite happy with her round yesterday. I think they had one little miscommunication, but to be out here doing this and to have a good first experience is a great thing to have on the resume.
when you see them taking a rail at that oxer at fence 2.
And again, you can tell the horse just has a huge stride. So Emily trying to manage all that he's got. Whereas right now that might seem like a problem, but as this horse moves through his career, she's going to be thankful for that big step.
Well, and I think this is a partnership that's going to be fun to see how they've progressed in a few years' time, because you see there's so much there to like.
Yeah. That's the thing when you get the big rangy ones. You know, the rideability can take a little bit of time. You know, and his organization through that triple, for him to organize his legs is difficult, but he seems very genuine and he wants to be careful. You can see when he gets a little bit close, he still tries everything he can to kind of get up and around it. So I think with a little bit of strength and experience, this is going to be a really great combination.
Absolutely. So taking that second rail at 7B in the triple combination, but leaving all the rest of the rails in the cups. So they will be adding 2 rails. That's Emily Sokol and Franco SSF. You see easily inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. So I don't think we're going to see that proving to be such an issue for this 1-star. So fabulous for her to officially complete her first 1-star.
Yeah,
that's exciting for her.
I think she should be pleased.
Next in will be Anna Kellstrom with Run Marvin Run. Added 20 jumping penalties yesterday, an additional 15.2 time to start on a score of 68.8.
Oh, geez.
So just having that miscommunication there before the oxer.
It looked like a little green moment. I was a little surprised. Maybe the horse a little distracted, actually, by the crowd down here. Anna does a great job, actually. She is a super show jump rider.
Unfortunately, a rail falling there at fence 4
maybe
as
a little tired, a little distracted. And, you know, we kind of talked about the course being quite long, and where it gets longer is if you have a problem, which it sounds like she had a 20, so then you're out there for a little bit longer than you'd like to be, and then that can catch up to you on this day. And again, I mean, the horse looks full of running and looks healthy and well, but sometimes just a little body sore, a little body tired. So then the style and the show jumping can start to change a little bit.
So also taking that rail at the oxer, but then jumping beautifully through that triple, which is great to see.
Totally.
Now coming into this final line, unfortunately taking that first element of the in and out at fence 9. So
still giving the horse a big pat and a big smile.
Probably not the round that Anna would have hoped for, but great to see her giving the horse big pats.
Yeah.
And it's this sport is hard, Sinead. It is such a process. It's so darn hard. But to be able to put together all 3 phases, when you consider, you know, the atmosphere and the pressure and all of that, to deal with an event of this caliber, it's tough.
Yeah,
it
is tough. And, you know, and you're finding out here you're jumping on grass, whereas, you know, our last competition leading up to this, we were in a small arena in footing, you know, and so you kind of are figuring out, do the horses like grass? Do they like footing? I think Anna's horse is a thoroughbred. Well, right next to this arena is a racetrack. You know, all of these factors that you're trying to kind of figure out the equation of your horse, right? And trying to learn what it takes to keep that horse happy and successful. I love this horse. I watched this horse yesterday.
He's a freak. This is Yankee Station with Patrick Wiltshire.
I have not seen this horse go, and I watched him gallop around yesterday. He had a little green moment at the first water, but it was very genuine, and just seems like it has huge amounts of scope, huge step.
Well, unfortunately, that little miscommunication there at fence 4 to take the rail, but he, like you said, Sinead, having that little mistake yesterday on the cross country, but he still made the time even with adding the 20 jumping penalties.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he's a massive thing. I mean, he's a really
huge galloping stride.
Yeah.
So Patrick and Yankee Station carrying 1 rail. I mean, the horse just
barely fits in there.
I know.
Do we know how old this horse is?
I can find out.
Ask the tough questions. Because I saw him walking around this morning, and he just does look so, you know, so big and lanky, and you just wonder, you get a little strength behind all that power and some experience. I think he's going to be really awesome.
Well, half the time when you have such a talented young horse, it's just waiting for them to have time to learn how to use all their body parts.
Yeah, exactly.
This horse is 11.
Oh, okay.
So this is just who he is as a person,
this is who
and
he
I love it.
I do too. I will take him.
So a few keen rails there for Patrick and Yankee Station, but yeah, I think this is a really fun partnership.
Yeah, yeah. And to be at 11 at the 1-star level, you know, I'm sure he was doing something else with his career a little bit earlier. So I think we'll see a lot more to come. So we've got Liz here again.
Yep, so she returns with the horse that is sitting third. So this is another one that's going out of order because Liz has to now go get ready to run cross country in the CIC 3-star. It's Gorse Hill Cooley, owned by Prue Dawes. Beautiful, beautiful cross country round yesterday to remain on that dressage score of 26.9.
Well, it's a beautiful horse. I mean, look at it.
I mean, and he's just a beast too. Completely ate up the course in his first 1-star. Looked like he was saying, "Where's the challenge?
Yeah, what
I've
is this?
Totally got this."
Which is great, and it's certainly an advantage for Liz to have already jumped around this course once. Although I don't think there are any surprises on it. I think she probably is riding the same plan that she rode on the first horse. It gives you a little confidence, you know, to go in and jump it once and go, okay, it's jumpable. I know what I'm doing. I'm on a nice horse. It should jump a good round.
Well, you can see he has quite a personality. He's a bit cheeky about the pace and exact lines he would like to be taking, but Liz is doing a great job of sticking to her plan, and he's jumping beautifully.
I always think if they're talented, they can be allowed to be a little bit cheeky. If they're lacking in the talent department, they better pay attention.
Absolutely. So
that's enough to put some pressure on the leaders.
There you go. Big pats for Gorse Hill Cooley from Liz Halliday Sharp. Easily inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. And that is going to be important because they remain on that dressage score of 26.9. Tammy will have a rail in hand over them.
But not over Ellie.
But not over Ellie. So an important one to watch, Liz Halliday Sharp putting that pressure on Ellie O'Neill and Tammy Smith, who are sitting first and second after the cross country. We are going in reverse order of standing. Next in is John Michael Dorr with VFE Safira. Another one to just have a green moment at that big brush coming out of the first water, which really did shake things up.
Yeah, it did. You know, I think it was early on the course. It was very distracting. There was some light issues going on, and I just saw, you know, a lot of kind of little green moments where the horses didn't quite lock onto it. It was nothing, you know, nothing malicious or, but the horses just couldn't quite, you know, lock onto where they were going. But this looks like a very talented horse, and John's very experienced. He's certainly, his experience is huge in the show jumping arena. He spends a lot of time show jumping. So that gives you a little bit of extra confidence coming in on the final day.
Yeah, he's super cool under pressure in this phase. You see the horse having a little conversation there, but he stuck to his plan at that line. And then they roll back around to this final line. One stride in the in and out, rubs the rail, but it stays in the cups. And then clear over the last. So all clear for John Michael Durr. Very speedy on the clock.
Yeah,
Some
I think he
12
also
seconds
did that inside turn. So, you know, I don't know if it's not getting back to them that actually they don't need to take the risk because the time's quite easy. But I think our later riders will be watching that. But then, you know what, some horses are much better if they kind of come in on an inside line. You know, it keeps the flow going. So it might not be a time issue at all.
Rick Wallace and Ultimate Victory, our next pair to go. They were our pathfinders on cross country yesterday, picking up 20 jumping penalties. But Speedy on the clock only adding an additional 1.6 time penalties.
Wow.
You see them taking that rail there of the Oxer at fence 2.
Just adding a little extra stride. You can see Rick kind of saying, come on, boy, stay in front of my leg.
Yeah, and unfortunately that caught up to him at that vertical at fence 4, so that falls as well. I think we're definitely seeing a lot of these horses looking around. And you can see it at that shot there that there's people sitting up on the hill by the clubhouse.
Yeah. And it's tough there because he did a good job because he had to really use the stick off the ground because it gave the first Oxer a little bit of room, but then that triple gets quite tight. So he did a good job to get that done. And you've got an Oxer in 2 strides vertical along the rail. I mean, I think that's your kind of tricky line.
So 2 down for Rick Wallace in ultimate victory. You see him giving
Time
the
to
horse a
68
pat,
well inside
which
the
is what
time
we
of the 2
always
rails
love
down
to
for
see,
Rick.
Sinead.
And the ultimate
Yeah.
victory, he added
And
Bulgaria
easily
on
inside that time allowed.
11:65.1.
This will be interesting as the day goes on
Yeah.
to see if Chris tightens down that time. I
Natasha
expect he
Knight
will.
set to go Azrael. This is number 42
Yeah.
out of
Natasha
Connecticut.
Knight and Azrael are our next pair to go. They jumped clear but added 20 time penalties, so sitting on a score of 55.9.
And I believe this horse was campaigned by Hallie Kuhn.
Yes.
So it's done an advance or two, I believe, and now is kind of showing a young rider the ropes, which is lovely. It's a beautiful horse.
Yep, campaigned at the upper levels with Hallie Kuhn, who we'll see coming along later in the day. And I love that, Sinead, when you can see these old campaigners show a young rider the ropes, or even an older amateur rider the ropes.
Yeah.
It's just really special to be able to see them still keep a job that they love at a lower level where they can be comfortable in their body.
Completely. Yeah, and that again, we kind of talk about when you've got a lot of these young riders out looking for, for horses to take them around the sport. Like we were talking about earlier, the sport is really hard, and you're gonna make mistakes, and it's always so confidence building when you know that your horse knows slightly more than you do. And I think that's nice even as a, because you get in like that and the horse still kind of figures it out, puts 3 in the 2 and is like, don't worry about it, and she'll learn from that. And priority is safety, right? And then we want to learn.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a great combination and worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more to have a partner who can really take your hand. I think this horse is going to do with her as she learns. It's really fabulous. And look at that. I mean, that says it all. Giving him
What
a
a
huge
sweet
pat.
kid, she's not upset. She's saying thank you very much for that.
So 2 rails down for Natasha Knight and Azrael, but I think that she's going to come away learning so much from that.
Yeah,
so it's really, really
totally.
exciting for her to be able to be partnered with this horse.
Totally.
Next in is Felix Vogue with Cartania.
This is
some horse.
Yeah.
Some
Did he have a 20?
He did have 20 yesterday, unfortunately, but very fast on the clock, 1.6 time penalties. But when we talk about horses for the future, this would definitely be one of them. Felix rides for Switzerland, has represented Switzerland at the last World Equestrian Games and Olympic Games.
So you're saying he's pretty good.
Yeah, you could say that, Sinead.
He's saying he knows what he's doing.
Safe assessment. Yeah, and in this 1 star, you have Olympic riders who are producing their next top horses. You have riders who are making their 1 star debut.
Yeah.
You have old campaigners who are stepping back to show someone the ropes at a lower level.
And it's that's the coolest thing. I remember being a kid and competing and looking at the pink coats riding next to me and just being in total awe. So it's an unusual sport that way, that you can compete right next to your idols, which is really fun. And every now and then you get to beat them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
that's
great.
really cool.
Even better.
Yes. So all clear so far for Felix Vogue and Cartania. And you can see he's really not rushing the horse at all. He knows that the time is not an issue.
And the horse has a deceivingly large stride because he's really getting down these distances very, very easily. Really nice.
Well, Felix Vogue just gave us an exhibition on how to ride this horse. And you see there, he really was able to take his time and easily 8 seconds inside the time. Yeah. So all clear for Felix Vogue and Cartania.
I think I'm going to leave you guys and hand this mic over to Danny.
Yes.
I'm going to go watch Tick warm up. But it's been lovely watching from this.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sinead. Off you go to warm up your husband.
I'm not warming him up. I'm just supporting. It's important to define those roles.
Right, of course.
Thanks, guys.
And we will welcome Danny Warrington back to the broadcast. He's just been down ringside coaching his student, so he can give us a ringside view of what you saw. We have Leela Saxon now with Mr. Bojangles. So how do you think the course is riding, Danny?
I think it's super. I think, it's been a great weekend. I think, I walked the course. I thought the triple line road, and I watched a lot of people walk that triple line 2, maybe 3 times. It's a little tight from the oxer to that first vertical, But the horses are jumping it really well. That turn, I think, is doing its job. My rider got in a little trouble, got a little late off of this turn, and got to the Swedish a little wrong. But the horse is such a good jumper, he jumped out of it. Same as this one here. 4-stride ride's great. That Liverpool does just enough to hold him, I think. Ooh, a little sticky there. I love them when they do that, right? They get a little clever and work hard to get through that and make it look easy. And she did a good job right there to kind of cluck at him and get him back in front of her leg to come around this turn. You know, didn't let that panic happen. I think, you know, sometimes in the show jumping we get a little bit of a bad fence and it all falls apart, but she did a great job to get this horse back.
Yeah, well, unfortunately taking that first element at 9A in the in and out.
And you wouldn't blame that too much, right? Just, that's what it is, 4 penalties. And I didn't see a lot wrong coming off of that turn. She was nice and straight. Sometimes they just don't jump high enough.
Yep, sometimes it can be that simple.
Yeah.
Do everything right and they just don't jump high enough.
Just plain don't jump high enough.
So 4 to add for Leela Sachs and Mr. Bojangles. Next in is William Kidwell with Tremolo, adding 20 jumping penalties yesterday, but making the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw this thing come down the hill. It was flying.
Yeah, absolutely booking it.
And he was still going. It was like, oh, look at the little paint horse. And here he comes. I guess I should call him a Pinto. But, little Pinto horse, he jumped great.
Definitely a cross-country machine. So I'm excited to see him jump here. I would expect we can see him springing off the ground. Well, that's
beautiful. There you go, right?
Yep.
Nice eye there, huh? He was patient off of that turn and sort of could have made a move at that and just did, and then got that horse underneath of it. He just jumped super around it.
And that line is riding really nice in those 5 strides.
I think the thing is to that one, you know, you just want to take your time off of that turn from 3 to 4.
Huge jump over that Swedish Oxer.
From 2 to 3. I mean, when you pass those trucks, you want to have a good look at those Ram trucks out there.
Sees his line into the triple.
So, I mean, I'm surprised by that. That line just holds them so well. Chris did such a good job of that, right? I sort of walked out and thought, well, that middle rail would be coming down a fair bit, but it's been staying up all morning.
Well, Chris is just such a fabulous designer. I think he's been on the road for the last 10 weeks designing it, shows all across the East Coast, and we're just incredibly lucky to have him based here in Ocala year-round.
You know what's super is, you know, a guy like Chris, everybody likes him, right? The TDs like him, the riders like him, you know, he fits in well with the program, and he's just a great guy to be around.
So all clear for William Kidwell and Tremolo. Next in will be John Holling and Profit. Unfortunately added those 20 jumping penalties yesterday, but also making the time. Has them on 49.9.
John's got a lot of experience. Nice young horse he's bringing along here.
Yeah, and we've seen so many exciting young horses in this 1-star class.
Yeah, this is building the level. I think John is such a pretty rider. He's so quiet with his body.
Yeah, super stylish in his technique.
Yeah, I enjoy watching him ride. You know, he's big with the safety in this sport too, keeping things going, keeping these horses safe. A real advocate for.
Absolutely serves on our USCA safety task force. And is also National Safety Officer for the U.S. to the FEI, so very much involved in governing the sport at that level. And we need advocates like John who can really push for more safety in the sport.
Well, he saw a nice turn,
wow,
right?
Yeah,
he saw a nice stride
shot
off of that turn and rode forward to that. It's one of the first horses I've sat here and seen ride forward off of that turn. Everybody else sort of seems to wait for that Swedish to come to him. And he really saw that and moved at it. Oh, but that caught him there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Got a little open and then just couldn't quite get that horse back to the Oxer for the end, and that's where that rail came. And that's what I was afraid of when I walked it, that it would ride a bit more that way, but John just got a little caught out there.
Well, I think we agree this is an exciting horse for the future. He's 6 years old. This is his first 1-star. He's a Tricaner bred by Anissa Cotton Gym. So Tricaner bred in the U.S. John owns with Chuck McGrath. So remember this one because I think it's going to be special. Just a bummer, unlucky rail to have that.
Yeah.
And the time not proving to be an issue, but I don't have a problem with that, Danny.
No, I think we had a big day yesterday, right?
We
had a lot of time
long
to
track.
Allow these horses to come in here, not put them under a ton of pressure at the 1-star level. You know, at the 2- and 3-star level, we start to add a little bit of pressure. But again, it shows, you know, what a good job yesterday was, right?
Absolutely.
Like these horses are coming in here, they're jumping well. I haven't really seen a lot of horses. We watched a lot of the jog. I didn't think I saw a lot of tired horses or sore horses. I thought, you know, everything jogged well.
They looked fabulous across the board, really. Shannon Baker and Carlingford Wells are next in.
Boy, Shannon finds nice horses.
My goodness, she does.
She loves a big jumper.
This is a 7-year-old Irish sport horse.
She's got a little bit picky coming through that turn there. Wants to come on here. That's better.
Yeah.
Very good. Now she's got to she got him a little forward there through that turn. I think felt that she was behind the time there, and get some galloping a bit more at this so you get around it a bit better.
Well, and the time is not an issue, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to focus on your pace and being forward enough.
Exactly, and you fall asleep, and the next thing Chris has got you, right?
Exactly.
So that's the game. Being able to play that time and ride the rhythm so that these fences come up the way they're set. You know, if you get a little slow out here or you get a little too fast all of a sudden, those lines, they don't work out so well. That's such a nice shot with him coming right at you. Nice square, straight approach. And that 6 has just been there all day,
yeah,
right? I mean, and you can see everybody kind of jump that in and out and smile, know that 6 is going to be right there for him. It's just a great feeling.
So, super round for Shannon Baker and Carlingford Wells. They will complete on their dressage score of 34.4.
Number 3, Rebecca Hoos and Donner Storm 2.
And that's actually our first pair to finish on their dressage score so far.
Oh, now we're moving into the double zeros.
Now we're starting to get exciting, Danny. Still a long way to go, and they were jumping out of order, so it had been sitting in 27th. So Rebecca Hoos is next in with Donner Storm. Just adding the 8.4 time penalties yesterday has them on a score of 45.8. Sitting in 43rd place, coming into show jumping.
And if you don't know Rebecca, you've definitely seen the baby over the weekend.
Yes, so sweet.
A little cross canter and fuzzy there. She got the lead sorted out. He wants to be a bit green, bit of a green moment there for. I think she did a good job to get her leg on and kind of just make that happen. He was cross cantering and fussing, and boy, she just dug in and got that done.
This horse has quite a lot of experience. It went around the 3-star level with Joanna Rimmer in England before coming to the Hoos family.
You know, sometimes I think, you know, yesterday gets these horses a little bit keen, and then they've got to come in here and settle down. And some horses are all right, you know, and then others, they're just a bit still keen from yesterday, and takes them a little while to settle down.
Yeah, some are just tired enough to take the edge off, and some come in here and see the flags and all the trade stands. And then you see the middle element of that triple combination falling there. He definitely looks pretty strong.
Yeah, he's making her work for it for sure. He's not being very easy, a bit fussy with his head. He wants to be a little aggressive coming to these fences. And you know, when the horses are aggressive coming there, a lot of times you see a perfect distance, and the horse gets a little rammy, gets a little tight, and all of a sudden that distance goes away. And really, she unfortunately had another rail there. But I think she did a good job of making the best out of a kind of a rough situation.
So 8 penalties in all. You see her just sneaking inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. So won't add any time penalties, but we'll add 8 jumping penalties for Rebecca Hoos and Donner Storm. Next is Elizabeth Abudi with Sportsfield Monsieur, adding 8.4 time penalties yesterday. Has them on a score of 44.0.
Time didn't have much effect yesterday. You know, we look at
it really didn't.
Top 20 horses, and they didn't change very much, which is good. Meant the time was makeable and doable. And like I said, these horses are coming out today and just sharp and keen and full.
Wow, this one
he's ready.
Really happy to be at the party. Love it. He's a big jumping horse.
Yeah, I heard Karen say a pinger. I think this is a bit of a pinger here. He comes right in there and just jumps up and around these things.
This is his first CCI 1-star. 10-year-old Irish sport horse gelding.
Oh, just a bit unfortunate there, right?
That was a bummer to take that vertical at fence 4. I mean, you see the expression on his face.
Yeah, he's happy.
So happy.
He'd be sorry about that.
Yeah, that's a shame. Jumped great there through that line.
Yes, sorry, Mom. I'll do a bit better for you next time.
Looking a little spooky coming into that triple.
You know, and I know he's a bit older, but that's a hard turn when you turn and look down that row of vendors and the flags are flying, and just an unfortunate rail there again. But there's a lot to look at down there, and I think, you know, you got to take that into consideration on some of these lines. This line turns away from that crowd. You know, they're not looking at anything but the fences. But when they turn back to that triple, there's a lot to look at down that long side.
So 2 rails to add for Elizabeth Aboudi and Sportsfield Monsieur. Will complete on a score of 52.0. Comfortably inside that time allowed of 78 seconds.
Here's Parker Miller and Superstorm
And
Sandy.
there's really no need to take any kind of inside turns out there because of that time.
No, I actually got a chance to talk to Chris about it, and he actually wheeled the course around fence, going from 4 to 5, and he wheeled outside of it, but very close. So it's actually allowed riders not to have to take that inside line.
Next is Parker Miller with Superstorm Sandy, adding 7.2 time penalties yesterday. Has them on 41.5 and 41st place.
Oh, what a nice front end on that horse, huh? Very square, very up.
Really springs off the ground. Just rubbing that vertical at fence 3. And jumping really nice over fence 4.
We worked hard for that. It's a big cross cantering out of the turn and a bit off balance, but boy, did he put in a good effort there. Again. I think this shows a little bit too the rider's greenness, you know, sort of not being able to help the horses quite as much as like a John or a more experienced rider. This horse is now broke to the trot 3 or 4 times, and you know, she just needs a little more strength to help keep him together. But I tell you, he's helping her a lot here, and doesn't like to touch these rails at all.
Yeah, it's a lovely mare. She's 8 years old now, Irish Sport horse, and this is her first 1-star, so she's officially completed it. Big pats for Superstorm Sandy. Yeah, she competed at the CIC 1-star level with Lizzie Green and Blythe Tate in England, so great for...
Has a good start, right?
Great start, and so awesome for Parker to be able to have this horse. I think it's going to be really fun to watch it go up through the levels.
He is a super rider to watch, Blythe Tate.
Yes. Just one who could be good to study, you know.
Right, exactly. If you get an opportunity to get that done, that's a good day to have.
Hannah Grace Johnson is in next with Erlenmore Beauty, adding just the 4.8 time penalties yesterday. Has them on 41.4 for 40th place. And this horse won the Fairhill 2-star back in 2014 with Julie Richards. Now showing Hannah the ropes at the lower levels.
Such a lovely uphill canter on this one, right?
Yep.
And that's that experience being brought along by a good rider. Good shape, good rhythm. Ooh, just missed that completely.
Bummer.
She just got a little weak there. I think the horse was fine, and she just kind of lost her confidence as she came out of there and second-guessed herself a little. Yeah, again, just needs to take a deep breath and relax and let this horse do his job. It's a big atmosphere here. The young riders get in, and it's their first 1-star, even second on a green horse, and the thoughts start to get to you. See if she can just settle down and clean this up a little bit.
Yeah, this is Caroline's first 1-star, and that's tough, Danny. A lot of pressure. You know, you're in the warm-up with Olympic riders and names you've only, you know, seen on TV.
And lifetime dream, right?
Oh, totally. It's a huge box to check to be able to complete that first CCI 1-star.
And you've been working all year for this, right? Like you didn't just pick up on Tuesday and say, oh, I want to go do a 1-star.
Right, exactly. So I think it's been great to see her come back and ride with so much composure after those early problems.
No, and that's super, right?
Great for
Again,
her.
A learning experience. You know, those last 4 fences were very, very nice, and so it sort of gives you that time to take a breath, recompose yourself, and that's why you want to ride a nice, experienced horse and get a horse like that, because it gives you the opportunity to make mistakes and not sort of end the day.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. So Hannah Grace Johnson completes her first CCI 1-star with Erlenmore Beauty, adding those 2 rails. But That is just a big check mark that she can put on that list of goals that she has, which is exciting for her.
One step closer to the dream, right?
Yep. So Caroline Dan Miller in next with tops. Another very experienced horse. Adding the 7.2 time penalties yesterday has them on 40.3. And this is also Caroline's first 1-star.
This horse likes to see his distance on his own here.
Yeah, and wants to take over a bit.
Yeah, he likes to take over a bit, but you know, I don't mind that if they're good. They make those decisions and they're good about it, then I trust them.
Well, and he's 17 years old now. Competed up to the 3-star level with Danny Dickdean, and then took Nicole Doolittle around the North American Young Rider Championships, and now taking Caroline around her first 1-star.
Just again, indecisive coming off of that turn.
Yeah.
And then that really is tough. Really tough if you get off of that Swedish to the Liverpool not well. It really sets that triple bar up, as we saw. Not very that triple combination down the long side. It makes it very tough to ride.
Well, and we talk about, you know, a green rider, first 1-star. It's a lot of atmosphere to handle, but now she can say that she's done it.
Yep.
She's checked that box. And the amount of experience that you take away from this is huge. And you have a whole winter to work on your homework.
Yeah, and you couldn't be in a better place.
Oh,
you know?
gosh, yeah.
We got a lot of good trainers down here and time and experience, but that's the way the game goes. Sometimes the rails stay up and sometimes they come down.
Well, and it's a lifetime learning process. We're all constantly working to get better.
When you know, the good riders, the top riders are gone down to Wellington to work on their straight dressage and work on their show jumping, and these are people that have been to the Olympics, been to the Worlds. You know, this is never-ending program.
Yes, a never-ending pursuit of perfection. Next in, we have Erin Deo with Effie Spellbound. They were clear and inside the time yesterday, so remaining on their dressage score of 39.8. So let's see if they can finish on it. In 37th place after the first 2 phases.
It's good to get him forward again there. Just a nice soft ride down that line. Just the 5 was very easy.
Erin's from Texas, and they completed the 1-star out at Texas Rose earlier in the year, so this is their second 1-star. He's an 8-year-old Holsteiner gelding.
Nice.
Seems like they have a really nice partnership, and fortunate to have that middle element down.
And he jumped in the oxers so well.
Yeah.
Oop.
Please watch our cable.
Came around there on the counter, and
Yes.
still made that look nice.
Still made it happen.
Yeah.
So just the 1 rail down for Erin Deo and Effie Spellbound. They'll complete on a score of 43.8.
Well inside the time.
Easily inside the time. Liv Levine will be next in with Fernhill 5th Avenue. Also clearing inside the time yesterday, so they remain on their dressage score of 39.2. So we're counting our way down through this big 1-star division. We had 59 in all to come forward. Liv sitting in 36th place. So we're getting closer and closer to the top 30, Danny, when things are going to really start to be a nail-biter.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Scores are tightly bunched.
I'm sure Tammy Smith is down there watching with bated breath to see how this is riding.
No, unfortunately, that rail tumbling at that oxer. Yeah, I talked to Tammy yesterday about how she was feeling, and she said nervous.
Yeah. Nerves of steel.
I was going to say, if there's anyone who can have ice in their veins, it's Tammy to go jump that clear round. So we are counting down to that. We are jumping in reverse order of standing. We've had just a few going out of order. And one to remember is Liz Halliday Sharp and Gorse Hill Cooley. They've already gone. They were sitting in 3rd place after cross country, and they jumped clear. So she's done what she needed to do to put the pressure on Ellie O'Neill and Tammy Smith.
Yeah, she could have done a better job. I got to watch both those horses jump down there, and you know, it was nice for her to go out there and trailblaze on the first one and just make it look so easy. I actually made my rider leave after that. You don't need to watch
You don't need to
anymore.
watch anymore.
Yeah, that's as good as it's going to get. So why don't you just go back up and we'll warm up now.
Yes, Liz Halliday Sharp already has a guaranteed 2 finishing inside the top 10. It's a question of where it will all shake out, though.
It's a good place to be, and that's a nice round.
Yeah, beautiful and well-deserved big pats for the horse. Lovely clear round for Liv Levine and Fernhill Fifth Avenue. They will finish on that dressage score of 39.2, comfortably inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. I see a shot there of warm-up. And a picture-perfect day, Danny. Like, not even a cloud in the sky, really. It's pretty phenomenal.
Doesn't get better. I
Does
mean, we've
not
had
get better.
such a great weekend, right?
We really have. Emily Lehman in martial arts are next in. Clear and inside the time yesterday, has them remaining on their dressage score of 38.6. This is a thoroughbred that Emily produced herself from beginner novice level. This is her first 1-star, so just love to see riders who really do the work themselves, produce the horse on their own, and to get to that first 1-star is just such a huge achievement and goal.
I always call it the Disney dream, right?
Oh yeah, totally the Disney dream.
The off-the-track thoroughbred that goes and does, and that is unfortunate rail there behind. Just was against her hand a bit. You know, he jumped that, and he just was against her hand, dropped the hind legs in there.
Yeah, a bit unlucky, so she'll get him rebalanced into this line. All clear there. He's looking very fresh after yesterday.
Boy, I tell you, she's doing a good job. When they get up like that with their heads up in front of the fence like that, it makes it really, really hard to keep them settled and to get out of their way and let them use themselves. And he is trying to get through there, and he pulls that one off.
So all clear through that triple for Emily and martial arts. They did have that one fence down at the Oxford fence too, but have been clear since then. Well done to Emily to keep her composure after having an early rail in her first 1-star. I think that says a lot about her.
And a lot about where this horse can go. I mean, he was not easy and still left most of the rails up, right? I mean, one down for as fussy as he was early on. I think we can make improvements on that over the next couple of years and have a nice horse for sure.
So Emily Lehman and martial arts completing on a score of 42.6 in their first 1-star. Now we look to Bill Hughes and Celtic Rhythm. Clear and inside the time yesterday, has them remaining on their dressage score of 37.4.
It's a great sport, right? We got Bill Hughes riding against his daughter.
Yeah, I love it.
11th at Stableview, 10th at Cham Hills, the winner of River Glen was past the summit.
A little quiet through the turn.
Yeah, you see the horse just hesitating off the ground a little, rubs that.
Rolled that rail, but it stayed in the cup, right? I always sort of say better lucky than good sometimes.
There you go. So clear so far. This mare is 11 years old now, Dutch warm blood.
Saw a good shot at that Swedish off of the turn there and moved up, and that sort of made things look a bit better.
Yeah, more of the positive ride that we're looking for.
Yeah, that's a nice 8. When that rides an 8, that rides really, really well. Yeah, well done. She wasn't giving it easy to him, I tell you.
No, he definitely worked for that, but all the rails stay in the cups for Bill Hughes and Celtic Rhythm, so they complete on their dressage score of 37.4. Nicely inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. And Werner Gevin next in with La Ventura, also catching that time yesterday on Clayton Frederick's cross-country course. So they come forward on their dressage score of 37.2.
Yeah, there was no doubt he was gone for time yesterday.
Yep, a man on a mission right out of the start box. Really had a super round.
First horse is just about out of the first loop of the cross country.
You know, Warner's been around for a long time. He's always a staple at these bigger shows, and Really nice guy to be around.
Yeah, somebody who you kind of always expect him to be there, don't you?
Yeah. Well, there's two oranges. It's either Varner or Sharon.
Sharon.
Right?
Yes.
And they're different shapes, so we're good to know.
Saw a
Nice
nice
shot off of there,
Really
yes.
nice shot.
Using his body to get that horse out of the turn instead of his hand.
Yeah, super round so far for Werner and Laventura.
He likes this one. I think he's allowing this horse to use itself, and he's got his body just letting this horse use itself over the top of the rail. Nice round, nice clean round there.
Yep.
He'll be happy with
Super
this
clear.
weekend.
Very happy with this weekend. So Werner Gevin completes on his dressage score of 37.2 with Laventura. Really fast on the clock. 14 seconds inside.
You know,
he
it
made that
doesn't-
look very smooth.
Exactly.
Didn't he?
Then that's
Very
the thing.
smooth.
You know, you look at that clock and you go, wow, he was flying. But really, he just didn't waste any time. And again, like I talked about yesterday, he didn't pull a lot.
Nope.
You know, there wasn't a lot of taking back and setting up. It just flowed really nice. It was a really nice round to watch.
Super efficient. Now we look to Katie Rupel and Hannibal. Also clear inside the time, so remaining on that dressage score of 36.1 has them in 31st place. So we're just about to get into that top 30. We already have had some in the top 30 jumping out of order. So starting to get to where we're going to be determining those top placings on the leaderboard. Just 2 rails separating the top 17, Danny. So 1 rail down is going to shoot you straight down.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy tightly bunched.
If you have any tricks for the warm-up, you want to be using them today in the
Yeah.
top 20 horses.
Absolutely.
It's hard to see from this angle, but I think she took the inside line there.
I think she did too, which we've talked about how you really don't need to do that to make the time, but some riders might decide that that's better for their horse.
I think that, I think you have to know your horse, and you sort of
Definitely.
have to know yourself too. If you go the outside line, you have to look at that Swedish for a while. Versus if you come inside, you're just using the turn to set up the balance, and
Right.
you wouldn't have as many choices to make.
Well, that
Well, that
bounced
one's-
straight up in the cups, but stayed in. So all clear for Katie Rupel and Hannibal. She looked back
Yeah,
to
that-
make sure it was in the cups.
Good. I'm glad she waited to look back through the
Yeah.
finish flags.
So staying on her dressage score of 36.1, Katie Rupel and Hannibal. Next in is Morgan Batten with Toby the Coalman, also beating the clock yesterday, so staying on that dressage score of 35.7, sitting in 30th place.
Big field of horses.
Well, it's so fabulous that you had a field of 71 actually coming forward when we started on Wednesday, and we still have 59 remaining in the competition to show jump. So it's just wonderful for the horses and riders to be able to compete in a division of this caliber and that size. I mean, it really does. It's special.
Yeah.
It's a special event.
And it makes, I think, it makes you appreciate the top 10 more, right? Because
Definitely.
you don't come to these things to win. You come to these to be in the top 10, to have a good showing, because it is hard to win.
Living a little dangerously there at the first, but getting it done.
First fence jitters.
And they completed the 1-star at Hagyard Mid-South 2 years ago, but we haven't seen them back at a CCI 1-star since. So great to see the horse back to that.
Tammy Smith doing a drive-by, if you want to know what Jenny and I are laughing at.
Wearing her Land Safe t-shirt.
Yeah, well, she had a turtleneck on. She gives me a hard time because I wear turtlenecks a lot, and she was needing a shirt, so I loaned her one of mine. Told her she had to learn her turtleneck etiquette.
So going well so far for Morgan Batten and Toby the Coalman. So another one to bounce that first element, and unfortunately the second falls.
Yeah, sometimes, you run out of luck. Right? The first
Sometimes
one
you
landed.
run out of luck.
First one
yes.
bounced back into the cup, and the second one wasn't so good.
So unfortunately, one rail to add for Morgan. They complete on 39.7. Now we look to Julia Bulkley with Cold as Ice. Also still sitting on their dressage score. 35.6 has them in 29th place. We also have CIC 3-star cross country now underway, Danny, so it's quite a busy day.
Well, where are our cameras for that?
I know. I know. We do apologize to everyone watching that we could not also stream that cross country, but you can follow those live scores on evententries.com. We will be streaming all of the show jumping today. The 3-star will be next at about 12:30, and then the 2-star at 2:30.
There'd be a quick division. There's only 13 of them to run around that CCI, or CIC, sorry.
Yeah, and they've actually had a couple withdraw, so they're down to, I actually think they're down to 10, so speedy.
A lot of work for 10 horses to go around, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to stick with the show jumping here.
Yeah.
Far more exciting.
When you saw Julia just having a rub at that rail at fence 4, but it stayed in the cup, so she's all clear. She comes into that Swedish Oxer. Well, I spoke too soon.
Well, yeah, but you know, so as I talked about, given that Swedish time, she came through there, and the horse never was really straight to that Swedish, and you know, that's unfortunately that's the price you pay sometimes if you don't get there straight and let that horse see that jump properly. You have a rail.
And I think that turn into the Swedish can almost lull you into doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you really have to fight that instinct
To
and
cut
stay
that
out.
turn.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
And I think we saw that same thing, you know, the horses that missed the chevron in the water yesterday on the same idea, that they turned too soon.
Yes.
And got inside of that, and that's a little bit what happened here with the show jumping.
So 2 rails to add for Julia Buckley and Cold as Ice. Will complete on a score of 43.6. Next in we have Lydia Kennedy with Double Dare. Also fast, speedy, and clear inside the time yesterday. So 35.2 is their dressage score. They remain on that in 28th place coming into the final phase.
A lot of happy riders after yesterday having made the time.
Oh, yeah.
On a big, long track like that.
Well, that requires a lot of mental fitness when you talk about these riders stepping up to the 1-star level for the first time, and the horses stepping up to that level. They've never gone that far before, so it was great to see so many riders having such positive confidence-building rounds yesterday.
Yeah, and especially the way that course rolled back in that last minute to come around and jump into the big water.
Yes.
You know, they were almost home, and then they kind of turned away from home and had to put in another minute. Oh, we just wanted to think about that. She was quick to get him back out in front of her leg. Good job there. Get a hard look at the end.
Oh, I've just had a message in from Erica Nestler that RNS Video is doing a live feed of the clubhouse water for the cross country. So on YouTube, everyone, if you want to watch that, click on over to RNS. If you want to watch show jumping, stick with us because we will be showing it all day long.
This is not going to have any trouble getting inside the time. Let's have a nice gallop around.
So big pats. Good round there for Julia Buckley and Cold as Ice.
Double clear there for Double Dare. Very well done there for Lydia. Finishing on
So
35.
getting closer to that top 25 now. See, Buck Davidson will be next in with Gaia. Also making that time, so staying on 34.2.
It's like a holiday weekend for Buck with one horse to ride.
I know. What has he done with all spare time?
Yeah,
Probably golfed a lot,
yeah,
right?
he's been out golfing.
Yeah, golfing.
Chasing after Aubrey, trying to keep things in control. But, you know, he had a lot of nice things to say about this mare. I talked to him the other day. Really thinks this one has a bit of talent.
Yeah, definitely one I think is going to be an exciting one for the future. Big jump there over the first.
Quick feet off the ground.
Horse is stepping up to the CCI one-star level for the first time here at Ocala Jockey Club. It's a Dutch warm blood owned by Kathleen Kuka.
Buck takes the inside turn there, and the
Yep.
experience shows, though. You know, he got to the middle of that fence taking the inside turn, and that's experience, right? You see him make that inside turn but not cut the turn, and I think that that makes all the difference if you're going to get straight to that Swedish. But a little too quick in there. And
Yeah, that was a bummer to have that middle element of the triple combination falling. I mean, the horse does not look tired at all after yesterday.
No.
And we really have seen across the board horses jumping so well after cross country yesterday, which really speaks to that fabulous footing. The horses just ran so well on it.
Yeah, the footing down here was incredible. The course was designed perfectly. You know, the problems were minimal, right? I mean, when you look at that result sheet of you know, riders and results, it just shows how well thought out and how well it all did ride.
So the one rail down for Buck Davidson and Gaia. Now Tick Maynard comes forward with Vasiliv on their dressage score of 33.5, has them in 25th place. So we are into the top 25, Danny, counting our way down to overnight leader Tammy Smith and Donito.
Sinead not helping, but supporting,
right.
Which I thought was very key.
Yes. Yes.
Very key statement.
Yes, they're for moral sport.
So good with his upper body there. You know, try not to pick favorites, but you know, he really stretched up there and used the small of his back to keep that horse underneath of him, and that really showed. Boy. Takes his time around this. Knowing that time isn't a problem is just allowing him to take his sweet time.
Well, and that's a great example there. He had so much time to get straight on his line to that Swedish Oxer. And we've seen trouble coming there when people are cutting that turn too tight and falling into that trap of really not getting straight enough. So Tick did a super job there. Super ride through the 222.
When you get him that straight, you know, the horse has a lot of time to see it and adjust itself. We don't want to jinx him yet.
We're not going to jinx it. Nope. No drifting left there.
Straight on down.
But
yeah.
Totally fine. Not a concern. All clear.
Very good round. I tell you, that was fun to watch. I enjoyed that.
Super round for Tick Maynard and Vasiliv.
And well inside the time. And you talk about a horse that didn't look like he was going anywhere.
No.
You know, if you watched that round and you thought you might have trouble making time, that'll show you.
So Tick Maynard and Vasiliv will finish inside the top 25. Now we look to Aubrey Wagner and Clooney MS. Fast and clear round yesterday has them remaining on that dressage score of 33.2 in 24th place.
I like the canter on this guy.
Yeah.
Nice, active.
Very active.
End.
He's a 9-year-old German sport horse. And they completed the one-star at Haggard Mid-South and won that, actually. So now we see them here.
You know, I've heard a couple of times this weekend, you know, horses doing more than one star and spending their time doing these 1-stars. I think that that's a really good thing for these young riders to understand, you know, not to do 1-star and shoot yourself for the 2-star level, and be a little patient, let your horses develop and grow. And we see that, you know, we see the results of it. Horses are coming out here, they're super confident. I'll take this one home.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Danny. You know, Jimmy Wofford will always say that just because you have the qualification doesn't mean you should move up the level.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great to see a rider choosing to spend a bit more time and get a bit more mileage before moving up.
Yeah, if she needs a new home for this one, she can drop it behind my place. That's another one that might pull me out of retirement. I just love the way that horse jumps. I love the way he carried himself. It was super round.
Beautiful clear for Clooney MS and Aubrey Wagner. They remain on that dressage score of 33.2. They will finish no lower than 24th. Now we look to Hillary Irwin and Harry Cotter. Speedy little thoroughbred mare, easily caught that time yesterday. So staying on their dressage score of 32.8 has them in 23rd place. This is also a fun one to watch. Very keen.
Yeah. That's something you have to look at. You know, this horse comes up so much in its shoulder for a thoroughbred horse off of that turn.
And she's 7 years old now. This is her first 1-star. And I know Hillary thinks a lot of the horse, and obviously there's quite a lot of talent there, Danny.
There's a lot there, and she does do justice to the feisty little thoroughbred mare. And that's what you want come minute 8, minute 9. You want a horse that'll dig deep and finish up strong for you.
And yet another horse that does not look one bit tired after yesterday. Well, and unfortunately, she just couldn't quite hang on to that.
Yeah, that's that settling part, you know, that just got a little quick. And like I said, when I walked that course, I've said that a couple of times now, but when I walked that was the line that I felt if they get in there, that's going to come up a little tight, that vertical.
So unfortunately, that rail falling at 7B. Now they will look to, well, I spoke too soon, Danny. Unfortunately, that rail falling at 9B as well. It's a shame because the mare jumped so well, but she's just
keen.
Very, very keen. Very happy to be at the party. So 2 rails down to add for Hillary Irwin and Harry Cotter. They will complete on a score of 40.8.
I think that'll learn. You know, I had a dance horse a long time ago, and he didn't jump clean until he went advanced.
There you go.
You know, so we won't discount that one.
Next in, Maxine Preston with Shannondale Magnum. Clearing inside the time yesterday, has them in 22nd place on a score of 32.5.
8th Kentucky Classic, 3rd at Hangyard Mid-South, and a winner at Chat Hills.
A lovely type.
Really nice horse. He's 7 years old now.
Teresa Ann Harris, could you check into the judges?
Big future.
And this is their first 1-star. So really exciting for Maxine to have a horse like this to produce through the levels.
He galloped on down there, and he was like, well, I'm a little tight, Mom. And he's like, don't worry about it. She's taking the inside line.
But she made sure she got nice and straight to that oxer, so that was how you do it.
Now we'll see. This horse has an amazing amount of patience with himself. You know, he got himself in there and just quieted his whole body and gave himself enough time to jump out of there.
Yeah, he's really allows her to keep such a nice rhythm and consistent pace. And so these distances come up so beautifully.
Easy.
Yeah, super, super round. Look at that smile on her face. Fabulous to see that from Maxine Preston with Shannondale Magnum. They remain on that dressage score of 32.5 to complete their first 1-star. So she will finish no lower than 22nd. I mean, easily 14 seconds aside the time and made that look super easy. Like, she was not hurrying at all. Really nice. Megan Lonan will be in next with Linford. Still on that dressage score of 32.4 in 21st place.
You're talking about, you're going through these scores, and I don't have the scores in front of me. Look over your side here and just sort of see. There's not a lot of distance between these horses. You know, you're talking tenths of a point, half a point.
Yes.
Well, you've been saying 32 something for a while now. And
you're talking all of them separated by 0.1.
Yeah, that shows you the level of competition that this sport has created. It's super. You know, you're coming down. This is a 3-phase sport these days. If you don't get a good dressage score and you can't make the time, you can't leave the rails up. There's going to be a penalty for that.
Well, and it's also the effect of the removal of that dressage multiplier. Scores are no longer multiplied by 1.5 in the first phase, which means that we have these scores so much more tightly bunched on the final day of show jumping, and I think it makes it so much more exciting, Danny.
For sure. We don't like horses coming in with 4 rails in hand.
No,
I mean,
that's so
as a
boring.
rider, you want 4 rails
Well,
in
sure.
hand.
But for the
Yeah,
spectators.
for the spectators.
So super round so far for Megan and Linford. They finished 6th individually out at the North American Youth Championships this year. And
What a great program.
Rebecca Farm. Yeah, fabulous. Fabulous for the riders to be able to go out there and compete in a team environment and get that experience so early on. And I think you see her riding with a lot of poise here.
Being able to come into this arena, you know, there's both sides of it, being able to go and do that. But then when you get to the big shows, you know, this is a show that's developing. But you know, if you go to Kentucky and you've never been in the valley, in that big stadium, you know, every time we can shoot these horses down and put them in a small venue and put people above them, it really helps develop them. So when they do go to a bigger venue, they're not overwhelmed.
Exactly,
by
it's
it.
not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Super round for Megan. Lonan and Linford, you saw her just absolutely over the moon with him. So they complete on that dressage score of 32.4.
That's at 20th place after going clear cross country yesterday. Scored today of 31.4.
Next in, we'll have Savannah Blackstock with Gary and Droog Albee. So we are officially into the top 20 now. Savannah sitting right on that bubble, on that dressage score of 31.4.
And finishing Carolina International back in March. Savannah Blackstock 20th place.
Nice confident ride to that first fence. She just took a deep breath and just let him meet it.
He's 14 years old, and this is Savannah's first 1-star. So nice to have a bit of an older campaigner showing her the ropes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not his first 1-star.
He's Dutch warm blood, Irish cross.
She's gonna go with that inside turn as well.
Doesn't seem hurried at all. She's really staying composed. So not looking hurried at all, but I don't think, considering how generous the time is, I don't think that that's going to catch up to them, but I am curious to see the clock here.
You know, pretty much
And good over the fences there for
an exciting round, but you know, a lot of times that's all you want. Just leave
Yep.
the rails up, right? It doesn't have to be exciting. It doesn't have to be energetic. The horse just has to leave the rails up, and I think that's exactly what she did.
There you
she
go.
took her time and she drew the lines in 72.6. I mean,
Yep, 78 seconds is that time allowed, so she still could have had 5 more seconds to play with and been all right. So all clear for Savannah Blackstock and Gary and Droog Albee. They complete that 1-star on a score of 31.4. Now Isabel Holden is next with Rebel Soul. So every pair who you will see coming forward in this 1-star is still on their dressage score. So you're looking at, from here on, pairs who all were clear and inside the time yesterday on Clayton Fredericks' cross-country course. They are on a score of 31.1.
Our leader has 22.6. We're in the top 20. So we have just about 10 points separating nearly 20 horses.
And we are inside the top 20.
It's going to be that close down to the finish.
And at this point, a rail down will knock these riders out of the top 20 because it is so tightly bunched.
she might be feeling that pressure right now. She got a little after him here, and hopefully that wakes her up. She's been a bit lucky the first 2 jumps here.
He's a 7-year-old thoroughbred, and this is his first 1-star.
Oh, he tried his
Really
little heart
tried.
out there. You got to count the second efforts in that front end to get out of the way, and just couldn't quite pull it off. He tried hard.
Yeah, unfortunately, taking that rail in the triple combination. But what a jumper this horse is.
This
I
is
mean,
going to be a
there's
nice one.
So much to like about it.
really used himself there. And, you know, you don't mind a horse that has a mistake like that because he tried, right? It's when they're not trying, and that horse tried his eyes out to keep that up.
Yeah, Rebel Soul really showing that he's a horse for the future, I think there. Adding the one rail to complete on 35.1, but I think you saw her reaction. She was absolutely delighted with the horse.
Over the moon, I would be happy with that one as well.
Doug Payne is next in with Cascore, sitting on a score of 30.1, has them in 18th place after the first 2 phases. This is the horse's first 1-star, and 6-year-old Holsteiner gelding.
Yeah.
6-year-old Holsteiner gelding, saw them in the CIC 1-star at Stableview, where they finished 4th. He's a Holsteiner gelding owned by Steve Blauner. Wow, really incredible effort there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
there's a little bit of a hind end there. You know, Doug, he's one of my friends. He's a good guy. I like Doug a lot. I tell you, he just keeps showing up with these horses.
I mean, this horse is an absolute freak with its hind end. It's
Yeah.
actually it's almost hard to believe that it's actually happening, you know?
Yeah,
It's such an incredible jumper.
You know, he's a bit green, he's a bit young, but Doug's doing a good job. But you can see why he's got him to this level.
Yep.
Because I don't think he'd be much better at the lower level.
Well, and Doug said yesterday that, you know, the horse had never gone that fast in his life.
Yeah.
And he wasn't quite sure how he would handle it, but he just rose to the occasion, really answered the challenge.
Doug saw that one from a long way away.
Yeah, he did.
He rode that like he rode that course yesterday.
I think Doug's really riding the horse like he expects it to come up to his level.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, like, come on now. Really not wasting any time coming down to that. So,
Nice clean
all
round.
clear for Doug and Cascore. Blistering pace there, 66 seconds. But 12 seconds inside that time allowed of 78 seconds. So remaining on that dressage score of 18th, so he will finish no lower than that. Just 17 pairs to go now.
You think we'll see that one again?
Oh, just a few times, Danny. That's some pretty big events on much bigger stages than this. But you can always say he did his first 1-star at Ocala Jockey Club.
Yeah.
Now this is Janelle Feniff with Strattonstown Lewis. Another super jumping horse. 29.8 in the dressage. They remain on that score.
Boy, my favorite kind of ride here. Just getting that horse set up and just being able to soften those reins 3 strides out and just let him carry himself is just best. There, see that? Really like this ride.
Yeah, super there.
Just love it. You know, she does her homework here through the turn, balances them. Soft contact. Ooh.
Oh, Danny, that is so gutty.
That was a bit unfortunate. That looked really nice through the turn and just got in underneath of that a little bit and said, I'm not going to do that from here. That was such a really nice ride. I was really enjoying that.
Yeah, she was having a super round, all clear going into that triple combination at fence 7, and just an unfortunate miscommunication there.
It's like I said, I think when you turn down there, you know, that's a lot to look at down that long side with the flags and the people and the trade fair and all the saddles. And I think the horse will just have a little look at that.
So waiting for that fence to be reset, and Janelle will continue on with her round. So a bummer of a way to have this phase going after they had such a fabulous competition across the first 2 phases. But again, you talk about this is a learning experience. She's going to come away having learned so much from this.
Yeah.
So we are counting our way down into this top 20 in the 1-star. I'm delighted to be joined by Danny Warrington to take you through the rest of this show jumping action in this division. Danny, the course is riding great. Time not an issue. So we are really going to have an exciting finale as we count down to those final riders. You see Janelle restarting now after that fence was reset. Still taking the rail, but getting it done.
Yeah. And I think that's a hard thing. Oh, just losing his confidence a bit.
Well, that is unfortunately
That is
elimination.
I don't mind. It's a bad day, but I don't think that this puts this horse out. Like, I think this horse comes back and he's going to be a super horse. I think she did a good job of riding him, and I'm not in the back barns knowing exactly what's going on with this horse today, but I can assure you this horse will be back. That it has such a nice jump and such a good attitude. I wouldn't, so you say lick your wounds, right? And,
Yes.
and then come on back, and you'll be here in the spring, and we'll see this horse come back again in top form, I guarantee.
Well, it's a sport of high highs and low lows, but we will see Janelle back because I know she's a fighter. Now we have Natalia Nieneman with Electric Lux next in, tied for 15th place on a score of 29.7. So we had a few jumping out of order, so we are now into the top 15.
Top 15, and then there's there's only be 13 of them jumping because we had 2 in the top 10 jump earlier. Is that
Because Liz Halliday Sharp has already jumped clear with her 2 rides, Flash Cooley and Gorse Hill Cooley. So they will finish no lower than 3rd and 9th since she jumped those beautiful clear rounds right off the bat. So we have 14 to go. Starting with Natalia.
Ooh.
What a jumper.
We
Hello.
keep this going. This will be fun.
Yep. Love that.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Yep. We can take this one home too.
It's an 8-year-old Irish sport horse mare. She was 12th in the spring 1-star at Ocala, 5th in the 1-star at Bromont. So another horse that Natalia's electing to give that more mileage at the 1-star level before stepping her up.
And you see, how well that pays off.
Yeah.
Given that time, this horse is confident here. It's jumping great.
Well, and the mare, of course, is by Lux, so I definitely bred to jump, and she is giving us quite an exhibition here. Super jumping horse.
Super round, right?
Well,
super round.
she just made that look incredibly easy.
That's a testament to the whole thing, right? Giving your horse
Yes.
a time, right? Being in a good program. She's in a program with Buck. It just shows a good bred horse, bred to jump, bred to play the game, and this is the result. It's great to see.
That has to be one of the nicest rounds we've seen so far in the division, honestly. Super rhythm. What a jumping horse. Fabulous clear round for Natalia Nieneman. So she will finish inside the top 15. She has guaranteed herself that result. Now we look to Will Coleman and Cooley Magida.
Just had a lovely round yesterday.
Yeah, what another exciting young horse for the future.
Will's another one. He keeps coming year in and year out with really nice horses. He takes his time developing these horses and brings them along, and it really, really shows. And he's been in the game for a long time. Super stylish rider.
And this horse has had some time off for injury, so coming back to the level this year. So super to see him back and in such great form. He's 9 years old now, Irish sport horse. And by Master Imp out of a Clover Hill mare, so very much bred to do the sport.
Off to Ireland the end of the month. Hopefully find a nice
Hopefully
Master
find
Imp.
one like this, yeah.
I love those horses.
Will also very stylish rider.
Patience.
And you can see how calm, cool, and collected he is here. Not rushing the horse, letting the fences come up to him, and riding forward and positive.
Super control of the upper body. Experience pays.
Well, and of course,
Look at the straight line there.
yep,
Right down the middle.
textbook turn, which you would expect from a rider who's represented the U.S. at the Olympics and the World Equestrian Games.
Yeah.
Beautiful clear round for Will Coleman and Cooley Magida,
Jumping time at 72 for Will. Cooley Magida.
completing on that score of 29.7. So that is the same score as Natalia, and Will was closer to the optimum time on cross country, so he will break that tie and finish ahead of her. And all those scores are on evententries.com. They're updating live, as we go down towards the top 10. Next in is Victoria Garland with Effie Hard Day's Night on a score of 29.6. This is a 7-year-old Holsteiner gelding and his first CCI 1-star.
A bit of a range in there in the turn, it paid off.
Mm-hmm. Some jumper with his front end.
Yeah, I think his knees went between his nostrils that time, or his nostrils went between his knees. Just wasn't able to get out of his way for the second one. He didn't seem to mind though. Patience through the turn here to this triple.
Maybe later.
Yeah, the horse can get a little bit interesting in his jumping style and combinations, it looks like, but
I think
it's effective.
Yeah, she struggles a bit to get her balance back in the combinations, and then she's sort of just against the horse with her hand a bit. But he doesn't mind, so we'll give him extra carrots tonight for that effort, because he's a super jumper, and we'll watch Victoria develop as a rider. She's another one in a good program.
Absolutely. Lovely clear round for Victoria Garland and Effie Hard Day's Night. They will complete the 1-star on that score of 29.6.
51 set to go. Here is Anna Honeycutt.
So what happens here? If you have a rail here, you're going to go tumbling down.
You are going tumbling. I mean, you are literally talking about scores being separated by 0.1 or 0.2. So adding 4 penalties you're just dropping straight down. So leaving the poles in the cups is paramount. Scores extremely tightly bunched after the cross country. Now we look to Anna Honeycutt with Fernhill Chico on a score of 29.5.
Oh, he punches that first rail out. Speaking of tumbling down,
very costly. So 33.5, that's going to knock you
one.
And another one. So really unfortunate. And Danny, when you have that happen at those first 2 fences, you have to try to get back in focus, and it's just so difficult.
Yeah, you're just gutted, right?
Yeah. This is their first CCI 1-star.
Well, from the looks of it, it was a bit of show nerve. He's jumping super now.
Well, as someone who struggles with nerves in the show jumping, I am empathetic. It is a pressure cooker out there. And I mean, it's tough. This is a proper international event. There's a lot of atmosphere out there. There's a lot of people watching. But you can't get used to the environment until you expose yourself to the environment. So it's all about getting in that ring. And the more you do it, the more comfortable it starts to feel. And that's the only way we get better, isn't it, Danny?
Wow. Practice, practice, practice.
Practice, practice, practice.
So,
so well done for Anna Honeycutt to complete her first 1-star with Fernhill Chico. She will go away with her winter homework.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Obviously had a great day yesterday, had a great dressage test, so we're 2 out of 3 bad. But we'll clean up that show jumping over the winter and be back for a nice spring go.
Well, counting our way down into the final 10 to go. This is Zach Brandt with Direct Advance.
This is the horse. I love this horse.
Yeah, we loved this one yesterday. 29.3 in the dressage. They are still on that. This horse is all class, really.
It's what don't you like about him?
Yep.
I mean, he's chestnut. He's got white on him. He's pretty.
And it jumps like that.
And it jumps. Was brave yesterday around the cross country.
Yeah, he's 7 years old now. This is his first 1-star. He was second in the CIC 1-star at Chattahoochee Hills in his final prep run for this event. So definitely a horse who's already showing form for the future. An Irish sport horse owned by the Direct Advance Syndicate.
Zach taking his time here around here. I think it's a really smart move. I would go around fence 1 all day long.
Well, with how the time is riding, there's really no reason to take that risk, and it gives you all that time to get nice and straight.
Yep.
It's riding so much better when you do that.
Then helps you get into the triple. A lot of the times we're sort of watching this triple, but if they don't ride that first line better, that triple gets harder.
Well, and show jumping is all about how everything in the course strings together. So cutting a turn the wrong way early on can then catch up to you
4 fences later.
Exactly.
It's always fun to watch those courses, you know, and you sort of go, oh, he's going to have that rail down.
Yep.
Because of something they did way back there, but
it's a domino effect.
yeah, Zach did a good job. He left all the rails up, so he's not going down the ladder.
Fist pump for Zach Brandt. Beautiful clear round with direct advance, a horse that I think you and I are both pretty excited about for the future, Danny.
You know, I kind of miss racing these days because, you know, in racing we can claim horses. You know, we'd like to claim that one from Zach. And
I would love to claim that horse from Zach.
Yeah, we'll put that in your stable. We'll move on.
So next in is Michael Nolan with Bad Moon Rising. 29.1 in the dressage, has them in 11th. So just 9 to go now. This horse is 6 years old, also competed in the 1-star at Hagyard Mid-South. Finished 7th, so this is his second appearance in a 1-star.
You know, I love that 1-star down there. It's so nice to be able to go down and use that venue.
Yeah, anytime you can go to
level.
the Kentucky Horse Park, it's pretty special, I think.
Pretty exciting, yeah.
And this is a full thoroughbred owned by Kara Andrew.
Yeah, I just think it makes that line ride so much better when you go around that outside fence and you have all that time to get straight, and then it really helps here.
Well, that was a great turn there. He got a great shot in.
Little rub, but he got away with it.
Yep.
Yeah, when you go around that fence 1 and get to that Swedish straight, it gives you much more time to get into the corner to get to the triple. And this is going to be another one finishing on the dressage score. They're not going to give it away today.
No, they're not.
Tammy's going to have to keep him up. They're not going to let her steal it.
The pressure is on as the poles continue to stay in the cups as we count our way down to the finale of this 1-star. All clear for Bad Moon Rising and Michael Nolan. They remain on that score of 29.1. Just 8 to go now. Lainey Ashker is next in with Colin Patty, an 8-year-old thoroughbred that she owns, sourced by her lovely mother, Valerie.
So did you get to see the jog this morning with Lainey?
Wearing her gingerbread man Christmas sweater.
Her Christmas sweater and the Christmas hat on the horse.
Yep.
Lightening up the mood on a typically tense moment. It's good to see. Everybody had a good chuckle.
Yeah, Natalia also jogged in a Christmas sweater that had jingle bells on it.
Nice.
So everyone was kind of
festive.
Very festive.
It's a little hard to get festive when it's 80 degrees and sunny for me, I have to tell you.
So Lainey seeing a bit of a long one there to fence 1. Another horse who does not look tired at all.
Nope.
After yesterday's effort.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. Just against the hand, you know, just that, as you said, he was a bit quick early, and then he just gets against the hand, and that just makes it hard to get that hind end out of the way.
Well, and it's tough when they get away from you like that early on, because then you have that momentum and it just can keep rolling and rolling. So she'll try and settle him back into this triple combination.
Oh, this is just heart-wrenching, but again, you know, Lainey's a good horse woman, and she'll get this horse sorted out through the levels, and we'll see him again.
And he's never had this many rails down in his career, so it's definitely an outlier, but I think her focus as she goes home will be the superb cross-country round that he had yesterday. Just looked like a class horse and one for the future.
Yeah, she gets him a little more relaxed and settled, and he's got plenty of scope and plenty of jump, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for the future, like you said.
So unfortunately, 3 down for Lainey Ashker and Colin Patty. Rails down at this point are going to be expensive because scores are extremely tightly bunched.
Yeah,
we are down to where there are less than 2 rails separating all of the horses and riders who are yet to go.
There are probably a few people outside the top 10, 15 15 that are
moving,
getting a little excited.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
are moving
they're
up
starting
now.
to see that they got a chance to get into that top 10.
We have Dana Cook and Master the Moment as our next to go on a score of 27.8.
I'll leave that to you, Jenny, to
You
figure
also
out who's
ride
moving
a
up.
class, so he has 2 horses.
I can barely remember who's on.
competing against one another in the same class.
Take
Dana's in
a
8th
peek
place
at
on
our
27.8.
leaderboard climbers.
Moving it back up in front of her. Stride a bit better. Have a quiet old jumper, really. She kind of chases him around the corner and he settles down and jumps his jumps. Clever old boy.
So just as one example, Doug Payne's clear round with cast score moved him up 10 spots on the leaderboard so far into the top 10.
So Doug, if you can hear us, don't go away. I know you're on your
we
phone
might
somewhere.
need you for the prize giving.
Yeah.
So looking super so far.
I like this horse.
Really nice ride there.
Just super, super horse here.
10-year-old,
Ears pricked.
yeah, 10-year-old Belgian gelding. Previously ridden by Hugh Wrigley, who was also here competing this weekend. And this is the horse's first CCI 1-star.
Well, there she goes. Good job. Under pressure, leaves them all up, 73.
Easily inside that time allowed of 78 seconds, so we will keep watching that clock as we look to these final horses. Time penalties have not been an issue, but we want to keep it in mind that that is a factor. So all clear for Dana Cook and Master of the Moment. Now we look to Waylon Roberts and Will Celtic Charlie on a score of 27.7. So these 3 riders who are just going are all separated by 0.1, so it really is a total nail biter.
Waylon not wasting any time getting to the first fence.
Well, such an experienced rider for Canada, having won team gold medals, or I'm sorry, team silver medals at 2 Pan American Games. This horse is a winner at the CIC 1-star level. Won at Bromont in that fabulous new CIC that was added in August.
Had a bit of a conversation with him through the turn there. I think that's going to help him finish this up. Yeah. Horse didn't really want to listen to him going into the turn to 3 and 4, and took a bit of a risk getting after him, but I think it's worked out.
Yeah, had a little conversation.
Yeah,
but
that
it's gone well since
conversation.
then.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to jinx him, but I think that conversation worked. You know, I think that may go unnoticed by the unwatchful eye, but that was a pretty serious conversation turned into 3, and that was risky. You know, he could have pulled that rail, but it actually paid off very well because that horse settled down and listened to him for the rest of the way. Another clear round.
So Waylon pulls off the clear with Will Celtic Charlie. They stay on that score of 27.7. We are now down into the 5 final horses and riders to go. Next is Hugh Wrigley with Effie Santos on a score of 27.6. No one can afford a rail at this point to stay in their current position.
No one.
No one.
No one is untouchable.
So
And it's a severe penalty for having a rail.
the pressure is on.
I like being able to be here to commentate because you can say things and not affect the riders. You know, when you're announcing, and sometimes you hear that in your voice, no rails in hand, that can get to your stomach a little bit. You're being a bit lazy.
Yep. But Hughes
I might give him a little cluck here.
Yeah, Hughes just letting him kind of go along.
Jump around. Yeah, so that you can see it coming. And he's giving him a slap here for him.
Yep.
Come on.
Wake him up coming into
Yep.
this triple.
This is just weak.
Rail.
Oh, and he pulls the 3 and the 2, and and he leaves them up. This is traumatic. This is the lotto.
That was a miracle.
Yeah, he just won the lottery. That'll be the last.
That was, wow.
He's gonna jump double clean, and this is gonna be amazing.
And he's gonna go straight to buy a lottery ticket
Yeah.
because that was unbelievable. So clear for Hugh Wrigley as he comes into this final combination. clear through the in and out, just the one oxer to go.
The luckiest shot in all of archery. He was William Tell.
And he has a time penalty. One time penalty to add for Hugh Wrigley.
Where's that gonna? Well, it doesn't matter. Christmas came early, right? Christmas came early there. You well done. We're having a good time with you. You should laugh with us.
So that will cost him a couple spots on the leaderboard, that one time penalty, but I don't think he's going to be too concerned about that.
No, Christmas came early through
Christmas
that
came
triple
early.
for sure.
All right, 4 to go. Maya Black and Mixmaster C are next on a score of 27.3. So in 5th place, we've already had Liz Halliday Sharp jumping out of order with Gorse Hill Cooley. She was in 3rd place and will finish no lower than that after jumping a super clear round earlier in the division.
Maya had a good go yesterday in the 3-star as well. Or 2-star, sorry.
Yeah, she's had a great weekend across the board. This horse is 6 years old in his 1-star debut.
I'm still trying to get the last round out of my mind.
I know.
Pretty excited.
I know. We need to take a breath, Danny. We got to calm down. The super nice horse, Swedish warm blood, owned and bred by Lori Cameron.
You know, Maya's got a lot of respect from her peers, and a lot of people think that she's going to be one of these superstar riders for the future. You know, not only the horses, but you know, we look at a lot of these riders coming through the ranks, and Maya's been there, but she seems to be one that the people think that this is going to be a super rider.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and we've unfortunate to see that rail falling in the triple combination, but Maya's a fierce competitor and has had top results at Kentucky with her previous partner Doesn't Play Fair, and I think we're going to see her get back to that 4-star level, and it's going to be exciting when she does. Because
won't be long now.
No, it won't be long now at all.
Little rub there made us nervous. But that one rail is not very friendly for the final placing for sure.
No, that will put her on a score of 31.3, which is going to drop her. It'll keep her just inside the top 20. But definitely
unfortunately,
costly.
that's a long way to go.
It is a
for
long
one
way to
rail,
go.
You know, and not necessarily a bad rail.
So just 3 to jump. Will Zuschlag with Quintana K next to go.
I don't know if where this. I love this horse. I fell in love with this horse on Friday in the dressage warm-up. We were the number before this, and watched it warm up, and I just think the world of this mare. I watched it warm up in the cross country yesterday, and this is one of my favorite horses on the weekend for sure. If I had 2 to take home, I'd take this one and Zach Brandt.
Yeah, no, this mare I think turned a lot of heads. She's 7-year-old Dutch warm blood, Will owns. And this is her first CCI 1-star.
Her temperament, her movement, I fell in love.
Well, she's jumped in 2 CIC 1-stars prior to this. Never had a rail down, but this is her first time jumping on the final day after a grueling cross-country test.
Will not taking our advice and going a long way, so I hope it pays off for him because I really do,
well,
do like this.
You see him really taking his time now to get that shot into the triple.
That hind end on this mare is just, oh, it's just lovely.
Well, and I love that tail flick, which she uses her back so well.
And the rhythm, right? We talk about horses getting against your hand and all that. This horse is so settled and so soft. Holding my breath. Wow.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, that definitely deserves a round of applause, Danny.
Happy for that. You know, I just love to see a super horse come along, and I think this is a real nice horse for the future.
So we are starting to really get into where it's going to be a nail biter now. Will Zuschlag jumps clear with Quintana OK. He will finish on that score of 27.2. Liz Halliday Sharp and Gorse Hill Cooley are on a score of 26.9. Ellie O'Neill and Zigzag are on a score of 26.0. So even one time penalty here would knock Ellie down a spot. We don't expect time to be an issue.
No, not from the look of the entrance.
I mean, this horse is also unbelievable, and one I'm a big fan of. So tight and tidy with her knees.
Ellie's taking a long look at that jump from a long way away. I picking out little things like that are the things that I like to see. You know, she had her eye over her shoulder, long way away, and just was able to see that turn. Same here. She's picked up this fence from a long way away, so tons of time to get straight.
This is a 9-year-old Swedish warm blood mare owned by Sally
Settle,
Cox.
deep breath, deep breath.
She's already won at the CIC 1-star level this year. She won at Carolina in the spring.
Whoa, just the nerve, and you saw her just slap him on the shoulder coming out of that turn, and there just isn't enough room for that in that. Boy, she'll hit herself for that. She'll be disappointed. That's heartbreaking.
So that is going to drop her down to just inside the top 15 by the looks of it.
Just heartbreaking. You know, she just came out of the turn and just wanted to make sure he was in front of her leg and tapped him on his shoulder, and I think that just sent him into that distance. And as I said, that distance is just punishing when you get it wrong.
So bummer for Ellie O'Neill to have that rail down with zigzag. That will put her on a score of 30.0 and drop her down the leaderboard. So now we look to Tammy Smith and Donito. They have led from the very first phase with that fabulous score of 22.6 in the dressage, and they defended that lead yesterday on the cross country with a fast round inside the time.
And can we just say this about Tammy Smith? Has there ever been anyone more on fire than she is right now? She's unbeatable.
She's had superb results both here in the U.S. and in Europe all season long, really.
You know, unfortunately didn't get to run her good horse My Bomb here, a bit of a sticky nail. You know, it's a long way to go. We were talking earlier about going to California, but here we go. Let's keep them all up, Tammy. Good luck.
And she does have a rail in hand now. She can have one down and still win it.
Nice patience here to get in deep into this turn. Look how sweet that was.
Just
how
flawless.
And that's the patience, right? Getting through that turn. And we'll see what she does here. She's going to take the inside line, I think. No, she went around.
She's only ridden the horse since about July, so when you consider how quickly she's forged a partnership with him.
Again, deep into this corner with tons of time. This horse jumps super. Oh, yeah.
Springs on his legs.
And getting up over that oxer like that and being able to compress that stride to that vertical, this horse is super with that.
He does not look like he is going to touch a pole today to me, Danny, but still 3 jumps to go.
Oh, if anything goes wrong, it's all your fault. I wouldn't have done that. Okay, now you can say it. Very good.
So Tammy Smith and Donito can afford a rail in hand, but they don't need it. That is your winner. Tammy Smith and Ruth Blythe Donito win the CCI 1-star at the Ocala Jockey Club International 3-day event. Wire-to-wire win, Danny, in a 70-horse field. A totally dominant performance from Tammy, which she really deserved it.
Well,
she was the one who rose to the occasion.
Rose to the occasion, made no mistakes, took her time, deep breath. You saw all that. I think, you know, the cool thing for Tammy is a long drive back to California.
Yes.
I think this will help make it a little bit better.
Right.
It's 24 hours to Texas. I was just talking to her, and then another 24 on to California. And man, what a great round. What a great way. Lead, like you said, wire to wire, 22 in the dressage.
Dominant.
You know, cross country flawless. You know, and it wasn't just flawless. I don't know if you got to see the round. Well, I mean, you saw some of it here, but we really watched that round, and it wasn't just a clean round. It was a flawless round. You know, every distance was where it wanted to be. It was never what I call propane moments where you sort of go like this, and you know, just clean and clear, and you felt relaxed 4 strides out from her lines, and it was something to watch. Just the show jumping here.
So Tammy Smith and Donito are your winners. Unfortunately, Ellie O'Neill and Zigzag having that rail down. That means Liz Halliday-Sharp will finish second with Gorse Hill Cooley, and Will Zuschlag and Quintana Kay will round out your top 3. We're going to take a quick break and then be back to recap our scores. And we also have to thank our sponsors for bringing us this fabulous live stream here on the EQ TV network. We're delighted to be bringing you this in partnership with Phillips Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, FEI Stabling, Ocala Marion County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we'll be back very soon to bring you the 3-star show jumping action, which starts at 12:30.
You made a promise. You agreed to never give up. To be a decent neighbor. To ask, what else can I do? You agreed to remember the good people who rise with every challenge. To remember their strength when you feel tired. To serve with grit and grace. To do all your jobs bravely, beautifully. You made a promise. We did too. The all-new Ram 1500.
Do more of what you love in Ocala, Marion County. More rides through natural wonders, more legendary competition, more chances to meet and get to know some of the biggest names in the equestrian world. Experience the horse capital of the world and discover where champions are made. Explore and do more at ocalamarion.com.
You don't realize what a difference they make until you realize what a difference they make. The all-new Ram 1500. Why more people are switching to Ram than ever before.